Hi everyone, this is Megzable69 with Take the Red Pill. We are going to be at video number 8 because there were 10 questions altogether, so hence the video to correspond with the question. That means we are winding down to the question and answer section of the debate and altogether the debate as a whole. Hopefully we will see if there's some type of change in this theist, Lamont Mapp's tone, but so far we have not seen that to be the case. So without further ado, let's see what's going to happen.
Alright, the remainder of the questions, actually we have one more for Lamont on the other end. This question is for Jason. How do you come up with a standard or rule for morality without a higher power telling you what it is?
This is actually a pretty good question that seems to come up all the time with a lot of theists. How do you come out with a good set of morals without a higher power as the authority? We do not precisely need a higher authority to have good morals. However, it's going to be interesting to hear the responses. So let's check it out.
Morality is based upon human experience, upon the objective assessment of our human experience. It's based upon our intrinsic nature. Immorality is objectively a negative experience within the context of humanity. We observe life, and we observe the quality of life. We are empathetic by nature. We see our reflection in the face of others, which causes us to empathize with one another and be moral. We need harmony in nature to survive. Harmony, by definition, we need morality, which allows us to be harmonized.
Okay, I agree with what Jason is saying. People need to get their moralities from, how could I say, a consideration of the consequences of their action, a rational consideration, that is. Because the thing is this, you need to understand your actions can impact other people just as other people's actions can impact you. And so if you're going to live cooperatively together, then you need to understand the consequences or the outcome of those actions. And so you don't have a right to impose your will over someone else's. So pretty much you getting your moral limits should be coming from an understanding of reality. Now, theists, on the other hand, their morality seems to come from an assertion of authority because it's, well, God says so. Now, I know Lamont Mapp, the theist who's going to be speaking, will say his piece. I don't know if that's the route he's going to go, but it will be interesting to see how he will say morals come from. But let's just finish seeing what Jason has to say, and then we will see what Lamont Mapp, the theist, has to say.
With intention becomes responsibility. We even observe moral traits in other creatures. We see that in animals. So just because we see altruism, we see compassion, these types of things.
This is another thing Jason is correct about. You actually do see somewhat of moral traits in animals. If you observe animals long enough, you will see certain things that they will or will not do to each other. And even within a den, let's say like a lion's den, you'll see certain actions that will take place and others that will not take place because of the way that society of lions are. And so hopefully Lamont Mapp is not going to twist it up and say that, okay, well, that Jason is saying that humans are animals. Because, again, we've seen the strawman fallacy many times. And so hopefully that's not what it's going to turn out to. But anyway, like I said, I do agree with what Jason just said. On with the video.
So we have evolved into this deeper self-awareness. And it's necessary for the survival of our species that we be moral creatures. Desires are not just surface issues, and so morality is very much based upon intrinsic desires that are foundational to human nature. And evolution obviously is responsible for social development. And like I said, it's intrinsic to other creatures, but it's founded in basic reason and rationality. Value is value. If I put value on something, for instance, I'm a hunter, and I could go out and kill an animal and bring home the meat for my family. But if my child goes and finds that animal, or finds a deer, for instance, and raises it up as its own, then there is a value automatically put on that because of the value that someone else has put on it. And so when we acknowledge that in one another, that is so important. To say that the greatest evil imaginable is bad, if bad has any reference whatsoever, the greatest pain and suffering and evil imaginable has any reference whatsoever, then we can make an assessment.
Okay, it's time for the words from the theist. Let's see what he has to say about morality. Let's see if it matches up with what I say a lot of theists say about their imposed authority as morality.
I think Jason is grasping at straws here. He's pulling himself up by his own bootstraps. He said, and I quote, Jason just said, morality is based upon human experience. We just define reality as being objective, not subjective. And he just said, morality is subjective. That's false. If you're an atheist, I hope you don't believe that.
Well, I had hopes for Lamont Mapp, but I think my hopes are dwindling away very quickly. Because he misquoted what Jason said. Strawman fallacy again. He said that Jason said that human morality is based on human experience and the objective assessment of it. Now, there's not once he used the word subjective. In fact, once the question was asked, he used the word objective twice. And so, again, Lamont Mapp is using the strawman fallacy. He's putting words into Jason's mouth and then running off of that new argument. It falls so hard. And second of all, when Jason Testament was talking about human experience, he was talking about humanity as a whole, not one or two humans or not a specific group. I mean, in the United States, for example, we cannot sit there and, we would consider it totally inhumane to continue stealing. Even though people do it, we don't consider it to be moral. Nowhere on the earth is stealing really considered moral. That's human experience. And so, again, Lamont Mapp is just twisting things around and starting a new argument to gain traction. But anybody who can see or was listening will see that, sorry, he's on a very slippery slope. But this is nothing new. I had hopes again, but this is what I see from a lot of theists. They kind of twist your words around and then start up a new argument based upon the new fallacy that they created. Sorry, no go.
Let's say, for instance, Hitler would have won World War II. Let's say that Hitler won World War II, and he convinced the whole world that it was okay to kill communists. It would still be wrong, even though the whole world thought that it was okay to kill communists. That means morality is subjective. It is a lie that morality is based on human experience. Don't buy into it.
Okay, so here's the funny thing about it. The question that was posed at the very beginning of morality was never answered by Lamont Mapp. All he did was come up with a new argument from the words he put into Jason's mouth and run with that. He never answered the question as to where does your morality come from, or if it does come from a higher power, as some suggest. And here's the thing. A lot of theists, when asked questions, don't have answers, so their only defense is to defend a new argument based upon what was not asked or what was not even on the topic in the first place. So anyway, these are the type of things that we've been seeing so far with Lamont Mapp, with the theists, in these video series. And I'm not saying all theists are the same, but this is what I have seen, I have witnessed from a lot of other theists. nothing new. Anyway, we will see. We have 2 more videos to go, and I don't really expect at this point anything to change, but I still expect things to be somewhat interesting and entertaining. Until next time, this is Megzable69 with Take the Red Pill.